Hello, welcome to the Dreamy Physicist. Tonight, you're not just listening to a story, you're drifting across time itself, back to a place before clocks, before stars, before memory. You're returning to the very first breath of the universe, the moment when time began to move. Let everything soften now. Let your breath slow. Let your thoughts drift like stardust across a black canvas. There is no urgency here, only wonder. Imagine a place where nothing exists. No light, no matter, no sound, no direction, no ticking of clocks or passage of days. Only silence stretched across a void, complete stillness. And then a change, a tremble, a breath without lungs, an unfolding without space. This is what we call the Big Bang, though it wasn't a bang in the way you might think. There was no air, no boom, just the beginning of everything, gently becoming. It's hard to picture, but imagine time itself, opening its eyes, not because something exploded, but because something began. From nothingness came motion. From motion came change. And from change, the first rhythm we would later call time. You see, time doesn't tick like a clock. It moves with change. It hums in the background when one moment becomes another. Even before stars formed, before galaxies whirled, before atoms danced, time had begun to breathe. In those first fleeting seconds, the universe was unimaginably small and hot, so dense, so compact, that the laws we know now didn't yet apply. But even in that chaos, there was flow, there was direction, there was before and after. That's what time is. Not a thing, not a place, but a relationship between what was and what is. In those earliest moments, tiny particles blinked into being. They whirled and collided in dazzling speeds. Energy turned into matter. Heat began to spread. And then, cooling. From cooling, hydrogen, the simplest of atoms. And with hydrogen came light. And still, time moved forward. The universe expanded rapidly, faster than light, carrying space and time with it. And with every stretch, every unfolding, the rhythm of time slowed a little. Yes, time was faster back then, when space was more compact, when energy was more intense. The tempo of the cosmos was different, like the beat of a newborn heart. Fast, insistent, alive. Even now, we know. Time is not fixed. It bends near massive things. It stretches at high speeds. Clocks tick slower on satellites than they do on Earth. And in the presence of strong gravity, like near a black hole, time can nearly stop altogether. But long before any of that, in the beginning, time was young and unbound. And yet, pieces of that early moment are still with you. Particles born in the first seconds still drift through the cosmos. Some may be in your body now, in the water you drink, the air you breathe, the molecules that build your brain. You carry the memory of time's first breath in your blood. In some quiet way, you are a walking clock, not one that ticks, but one that remembers. But clocks as we know them came later, much later. First came the stars. Their steady glow helped mark the passing of night into day. Then came planets, spinning in cosmic rhythm. Shadows moved. Seasons changed. Patterns emerged. People began to notice. The world moved in cycles, and time began to be measured. Sundials marked hours with shadows. Water clocks stripped steady rhythm. Sand flowed in glass bulbs. Later, mechanical gears and pendulums turned time into ticks. Seconds, minutes, hours, all carved from motion. We learned to name time, to divide it, to count it. But deep beneath our counting, time remained what it always was, a quiet unfolding of moments. And you, lying here now, you still feel the old rhythms. Your heart knows them. Your breath follows them. Your mind, even in rest, is guided by a clock older than machines. Inside your brain, a small cluster of cells keeps time, not with metal, but with light. It listens to the sun. It regulates your sleep, your hormones, your energy. It's called your circadian rhythm, a natural clock, tuned by the turning of Earth. Even when you close your eyes, even when you sleep, your body continues the dance, a quiet rhythm set billions of years ago. You are part of a symphony, a beat that started when the universe opened its eyes. And that beat continues now, in the stillness of this moment. Time is often thought of as linear, a straight line from past to future. But perhaps it's more like a wave, rising, falling, slowing, stretching, spiraling inwards and outwards. Tonight, as you rest, you are not separate from that wave. You are held within it. And while the universe expands, you shrink gently into sleep, falling not backward, but inward. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper into that rhythm within your body, the inner clock that moves even when you dream, the timekeeper in your cells, the light hidden inside your brain, a story not of stars, but of you. Let your breath slow. Let your thoughts soften. You're part of the rhythm. You've always been. Somewhere deep inside your brain, behind your eyes, a tiny cluster of cells pulses in the dark. It is no bigger than a grain of rice, and yet it keeps the time for your entire body. It's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, but you don't need to remember the name. Just know, this is your master clock. It listens for light. When morning comes, even through closed eyelids, light touches those cells and wakes them. They whisper to your body, it's time to rise. When darkness falls, they whisper again, it's time to rest. They speak not in words, but in hormones, temperature, heartbeat, and breath. And so your body listens, not to seconds or minutes, but to sunlight and shadow. This is your circadian rhythm, from the Latin words circa, about, and diem, day. It is your natural cycle, shaped by Earth's turning, about 24 hours long, just like the planets spin beneath your feet. But your rhythm is not just one clock, it's many. Each organ has its own beat. Your liver, your lungs, your skin, even your gut. They each wake and rest on their own schedule. Together, they make up your body's orchestra. And the conductor, that tiny bundle of brain cells, aligns them all. But what happens when that rhythm breaks? You felt it: jet lag, night shifts, sleepless nights. when you ignore light and time, when you stay awake through darkness, your inner clock grows confused. Your cells begin to whisper at the wrong moments. Sleep won't come easily. Your hunger arrives at midnight. Your energy vanishes at noon. Even your mood changes. Because your timekeeper doesn't just track sleep, it shapes how you feel. Melatonin, the sleep hormone, rises with night. Cortisol, the wake-up signal, greets the dawn. Serotonin, your mood sunlight, shifts with the hours. All these chemicals flow according to the clock in your brain. So when you follow your rhythm, sleeping when it's dark, waking with the sun, you begin to feel in tune with something deeper, not just rest, but balance. Your heart rate settles, your digestion flows, your mind clears, your emotions soften. Even your immune system listens to time. It fights better during the day, rests more at night, and your cells, those tiny builders that repair tissue, fight infection, create memory, they do their best work when they know what time it is. Think of your body as a garden. Each cell is a seed, and time is the sun and moon guiding it to grow. But not everyone lives by the sun. In modern life, we live under glowing screens. We eat at midnight, scroll past dusk, and light our nights like endless day. To your body's timekeeper, this is confusing. It cannot tell night from day. It begins to lose track. That's why so many feel tired even after rest, anxious without reason, unsettled in ways they can't explain. We've dimmed the signals, and the rhythm suffers. But it can be restored. Even now, in this quiet moment, you are resetting your clock, because rest is not just about sleep, it's about returning to rhythm. Even your breath moves in cycles. Inhale, exhale, wake, sleep, sunrise, sunset, all part of a greater tide. And there is beauty in that. You are not separate from the world. You are shaped by the same turning that moves oceans and opens flowers. Each morning, when you open your eyes to daylight, you are telling your body, begin again. Each night, when darkness comes, your body hears, it's time to let go. Your skin absorbs light. Your pupils narrow or widen with it. Even the tiniest corner of your being has memory of the sun. Some studies suggest even our genes have rhythms. They turn on and off at certain times, like instruments entering and exiting a song. This means your body isn't just living in time, it is composed of it. So the next time you feel tired at odd hours, ask yourself, is this my clock speaking? Have I listened to the rhythm today? Have I seen the sky? Felt the wind? Let my body follow what it already knows. Because the answers often lie not in doing more, but in sinking more. Not in speeding up, but slowing down. In this rhythm lies healing. Cells regenerate in sleep. Muscles rebuild. Memories are filed. Dreams wander like gentle travelers through the landscape of your mind. And as you rest now, know this. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply adjusting. The same way the earth wobbles slightly as it turns, so too do you sway and settle into rhythm. It's okay to feel out of sync sometimes. It's part of being alive. So breathe now. Let your shoulders loosen. Let the rhythm carry you, not forward, not backward, but inward. Your body remembers the song. It always has. As the night deepens, your internal orchestra slows. Heartbeat, breath, thoughts, each becoming quieter, warmer, slower. And as sleep approaches, you return to the place where rhythm began, not with ticking hands, but with the turning of the earth. Soon, we'll drift beyond your body and travel to a stranger place where time itself does not flow evenly, where gravity plays tricks and clocks lose their meaning. In the next chapter, we'll step closer to a phenomenon so strange it bends time itself. But for now, your body is enough. It is the oldest timekeeper you'll ever know. Let it rest. Let it drift. Let it remember. Time, you once thought, was steady like a ticking metronome in an empty room. But tonight, you learn a secret, one that slips softly through space, humming just beneath the surface of the universe. Time doesn't move at the same pace for everyone. And speed, yes, speed, can bend it. Close your eyes again. You're not in your room anymore. You're aboard a ship, not a real one, but a vessel of imagination, drifting silently through space. There is no sound here, no wind, no weight, only motion. And in this motion, something astonishing unfolds as you travel faster, faster than you've ever imagined. Time, quietly, begins to slow down. Not for you, the traveler. To you, everything feels just the same. But for someone watching from afar, your clock is ticking slower. This is time dilation, a soft stretching of time predicted by Albert Einstein over a century ago. His theory of relativity whispered something strange, that time and space are woven together, and motion tugs gently on that fabric. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. It's not just an idea. It's been measured. High-speed particles in labs decay more slowly. Astronauts on the International Space Station, moving at thousands of kilometers per hour, age just a little bit less than we do down here. The difference is tiny, fractions of a second. But if you could travel near the speed of light, those fractions would stretch. A minute for you might be years for someone back home. Imagine you board a ship and fly across the galaxy at nearly light speed. You spend a few years exploring distant stars. When you return to Earth, 100 years have passed. Everyone you knew has grown old or gone. But for you, it was only a blink. This is not science fiction. It is reality, hidden in the equations that describe the universe. But what does it feel like? Not dramatic or dizzying, not flashing lights or blurring shapes. It feels normal. Time dilation is quiet, subtle, like a clock whose hands turn more slowly the faster it moves through the sky. And this slowing of time is not just about speed. It's about how speed and space are connected. Because when you move faster, you're moving through space more quickly, and in a strange, gentle exchange, you move through time more slowly. It's as if the universe offers you a trade. The more space you travel through, the less time you experience. Einstein called this the space-time continuum, a fabric of reality stretched by motion and gravity alike. You can't separate space from time. They're stitched together, dancing in unity. This is why astronauts, even in low orbit, come home ever so slightly younger than their twins on Earth. And not just younger in metaphor, but truly, physically younger. Tiny differences. But real. Imagine now a particle, born in the upper atmosphere, racing toward Earth. It lives only for a split second, yet somehow it survives long enough to reach the ground. How? Because it's moving so fast. Its time has stretched. It lives longer, not because it changed, but because time itself slowed down for it. Let this idea float in your mind. Speed changes time, not just for machines or particles, but even for you. If you could move faster than anything else, close to the speed of light, you could travel forward in time, skip centuries, see futures unfold. But there's a catch. You can go forward, but never backward. Time dilation slows your experience of time. It doesn't let you rewind it. You can leap into the future, but you can't reach into the past. Still, isn't that a kind of wonder? That motion, simple, graceful motion, can shape the tempo of your existence? It's like walking across a beach and noticing the sand behaves differently depending on your stride. Time becomes malleable, not rigid. But how fast is fast enough? The speed of light is about 300,000 kilometers per second. It's the fastest thing we know. And no object with mass, like you or me, can quite reach it. As you approach that speed, it becomes harder and harder to go faster. You need infinite energy. And yet, the closer you get, the more dramatically time bends. It's a gentle paradox. You can never reach the light, but by chasing it, you stretch time around you. And that's why the universe feels so strange on large scales. When we look out into space, we see ancient galaxies. Some of them are billions of light years away. And yet, their light just reaches us now because of how time and distance curve together. We are always looking into the past. Telescopes are time machines, and light is memory. You are made of atoms, but you are also made of time. Your very presence here, listening, breathing, is shaped by every second before it. And the seconds are not all equal. They stretch, they bend, they flow differently, depending on how and where you move. Tonight, you aren't flying through space, but your thoughts are, and they, too, move at a speed that changes you. Maybe you've noticed, as you slow your breath, time begins to feel different, longer, softer, not measured in minutes, but in sensations. Because perception, too, is a kind of clock, and your awareness can shape your experience of time. In dreams, hours pass in minutes. In fear, seconds feel eternal. In love, time vanishes. So while physicists measure time with lasers and equations, you also measure it with feeling. That's why time dilation isn't just a cosmic truth, it's a human one. Tonight, as your thoughts drift into quieter rhythms, you're bending time in your own way, not with speed, but with stillness. And stillness, too, is powerful. It's the counterbalance to motion, the calm that lets us feel how time brushes past. So breathe here. Pause in this place between motion and rest. Let the idea settle that time is not absolute, and neither are you. You change, you adapt, you stretch and sway with time's tide. And just beyond this idea, there lies another force, one that curves time not with speed, but with weight. It pulls gently, invisibly, and shapes the clock beneath your feet. In the next chapter, we'll drift toward gravity and feel how it too can slow the heartbeat of time. But for now, let your mind be still, floating softly through the speed that bends time. Time has many faces. Sometimes it races, sometimes it rests. And now you begin to feel its third rhythm, not shaped by speed, but by gravity. You are still, lying quietly, your breath slow, your thoughts beginning to loosen their grip. You floated through speed, felt time stretch like soft silk in motion. Now, gently, let yourself fall, not in fear, but in understanding, because gravity, too, changes time. It's not just a force that pulls apples from trees or keeps your feet pressed to the earth. It is more intimate than that. Gravity bends the very fabric of space-time, and when it bends space, it also bends time. Imagine a great sheet, a smooth canvas spread out in the dark. Now place a heavy ball in the center. The fabric dips, curves, folds gently around it. That is what gravity does to space and to time. Where gravity is stronger, time runs more slowly. Not in a way you can feel moment by moment, but in a way that quietly reshapes everything. Right now, your body lies in Earth's gravity. Your clock, your heartbeat, your breath ticks just a little more slowly than the clocks on a satellite high above you. Those satellites, orbiting the planet, are farther from Earth's gravity well. Their time runs faster, not by much, just microseconds, but enough that without correction, your phone's GPS would be off by kilometers every day. Yes, the navigation on your phone only works because we understand that gravity slows time. This isn't science fiction. This is happening right now, in the technology you use, in the machines that speak to the stars. And it happens in your body too. If you stood at sea level, your time would tick just a little slower than someone on a high mountain. Not enough for you to feel, but enough for science to measure. Enough to remind us that we are not separate from the fabric of the universe. We are folded into it. And gravity, that ancient tug, that silent embrace of the earth, shapes not just your weight, but your time. Now picture a black hole, a place where gravity is no longer gentle, but fierce, infinite, so strong that not even light can escape. At the edge of a black hole, time nearly stops. To an outside observer, someone falling into a black hole appears to freeze at the edge. Their image becomes dim, red shifted, fading into forever. But for the falling one, time feels normal. This is the strange truth. Your experience of time is always yours, even when the universe around you is bending it. You never feel it slowing, not in your heart, not in your breath. And yet, it slows. And this brings you back to the ground beneath your back, to the pull you've felt since birth. Gravity is more than just a weight. It is a weaver, And what it weaves is time. When Einstein first imagined this, he saw planets not pulled, but following curved paths in a space shaped by mass. And because space and time are one, that meant time curved too. Every massive object, a planet, a star, even your own body, tugs softly on the fabric of spacetime. And the deeper the well of gravity, the slower the time inside it. Imagine standing next to a neutron star, a collapsed, incredibly dense remnant of a star. It's only the size of a city, but heavier than our sun. The gravity is intense. If you could stand near it without harm, your time would crawl compared to someone far away. A minute for you could be hours elsewhere. This is real, measured, written into the cosmos. So what does that mean for you? For the seconds you live and feel and hold? It means you are never truly alone in time. You are dancing with the earth, feeling its pull slow your moments by fractions of a fraction. It means your time is not fixed. It is fluid, responsive, tuned by where you are, how fast you move, how deep into gravity you go. Even sleep changes. In deep rest, your heart slows, your brain waves shift, and you enter rhythms far from waking time. Gravity, speed, perception, they blend. This is why, as you lie here now, your sense of time begins to melt. Minutes drift like mist. Thoughts stretch like shadows at dusk. And as you reflect on this, you may begin to feel a deeper sense of wonder. What else might shape time? If gravity can bend it, if speed can stretch it, if your very breath can change its rhythm, then is time as rigid as we once believed? Perhaps not. Perhaps time is more like water than stone, flowing around mass, rippling with motion, softening under stillness. You are not separate from that river. You are part of it. And just ahead, beyond gravity's gentle grip, lies a different kind of current, a wave of energy that stretches the very fabric of the universe outward. Dark energy, the great unknown, an invisible force that speeds up the universe's expansion, pulling galaxies away, widening the gaps between stars, making the clock of the cosmos tick ever stranger. And so, as you begin to drift into deeper rest, cradled by gravity, held in its soft, slowing arms, you start to wonder, if gravity slows time, what does expansion do? And what kind of clock ticks in the emptiest corners of the universe? You are still, your breath soft, your body cradled by the quiet pull of gravity. Tonight, time takes you climbing, not in dreams, but through altitude and orbit, where even a few steps higher make the seconds tick differently. Imagine a clock placed gently at the base of a mountain. Its ticking is steady, like a heartbeat, calm, constant. Now, take that same clock and carry it to the summit. The difference is invisible, but it is real. Up there, farther from Earth's center, the tug of gravity weakens, just a little. And so, time moves faster, not fast in the way you notice with breath or blink, but fast in the way that science measures, with stillness, patience, and trust in precision. In 2010, physicists raised two atomic clocks just 33 centimeters apart. barely the height of a footstool, and proved the higher one ticked faster. That small shift in height made a difference. Not in years, not even seconds, but enough to know gravity molds time, even on the scale of a step. You live your life under this silent truth. At the top of every skyscraper, clocks move a fraction faster than at the ground floor, and far above the buildings, beyond the clouds, satellites orbit the Earth, and their clocks move faster still. Why? Because they too are higher, freer from Earth's gravity. But there's something else in play. They're also moving fast. And motion, as you've already felt, slows time down. So a satellite's time is pulled in two directions. Its altitude wants to make it tick faster. Its speed wants to make it tick slower. The result is a delicate balance. GPS satellites, for instance, tick about 38 microseconds faster per day than clocks on Earth. Not much. But without correcting for that difference, your phone's location would drift by kilometers each day. The map in your hand, the directions that guide you, the blue dot that follows your steps, all of them rely on understanding how altitude, motion, and gravity shape time. You are part of this dance, even when you stand still. Imagine now that you are lying on a soft mountain meadow, the stars watching you from above. Here, you are closer to the sky, farther from Earth's deep pull. And though your body feels no change, your time flows ever so slightly faster than it does for someone sleeping at sea level. You and they will never feel this difference. You'll age together, laugh together, share memories that unfold in harmony. But the physics remembers what you do not. It keeps the score of time's drift, measured not in meaning, but in math. And this is where science becomes poetry, because time isn't a rule book, it's a rhythm. And the rhythm depends on where you stand and how you move. High places are not just places of thin air. They are places of thinner time, not in size, but in structure. Every time you fly in a plane, your watch ticks faster than the clocks on the ground. Every orbit of the International Space Station is a journey into slightly faster time, and yet the speed of the station also slows its time. It's all in balance. It always is. And still, this isn't just a technical truth. It's a deeply human one, because it means there is no single, shared now. There is no universal tick of the cosmic clock. Your now is yours, shaped by where you are, how you move, how close you are to the mass of a planet or the curve of a satellite's orbit. This makes time more than a number. It makes it a place, and it makes you a traveler, even as you lie perfectly still. Right now, this very moment, your body is turning with the Earth, rotating, orbiting, spiraling through space. You are not at rest. You are on a journey through shifting gravity and folded space-time. And your time moves with you, sometimes imperceptibly slower, sometimes a whisper faster, always uniquely yours. When you place a clock at the top of a tower and another at its base, the one at the top will stretch forward in time just a bit more quickly. And this raises a quiet, beautiful idea that time itself is layered, like mist hugging the slopes of hills, like light scattered across heights and depths. We live in a time field, not a timeline. and every moment is tuned to altitude and orbit, gravity and motion, stillness and speed. Your pulse, the whisper of your breath, the drifting of your thoughts, they are all shaped by the physics of where you are, not metaphorically, literally. So, tonight, as you rest within this invisible web, you can let your mind float gently upward toward the clocks in orbit, the drifting satellites, keeping time for the world. And you can feel that their ticking, though faster, still touches yours. Because all these moments are woven together in the great curvature of time. Even when they flow at different speeds, they are part of the same river. You do not fall behind. You do not race ahead. You simply float on your own current. And as your breath settles, you might begin to wonder if time changes across mountains and satellites. What happens in a universe that itself is expanding? If space stretches, does time stretch too? The clocks in orbit fade softly from view. The sky above begins to widen, and in that widening, the next question waits. How does time behave when space itself begins to stretch? Deep space, not the space of satellites or moonlight skies, but the space beyond planets, beyond suns, where silence reigns in all directions. You close your eyes, and your breath softens, as if your body already knows. You are about to drift far, far from home. There is no wind here, no footsteps, no weight, only the hush of infinite distance and a kind of stillness that feels ancient. Out here, your dreams become untethered. They begin to stretch. Not just because you are dreaming, but because time itself stretches in deep space, just like the fabric that holds it. You remember what you've already felt. Gravity slows time, speed bends it, and altitude lifts it. But what happens when there is barely any gravity at all? What happens in the spaces between galaxies, where matter thins into near nothingness, and there are no planets, no stars, just vastness? Time, here, moves faster. Not the hurried kind of fast, not the rush ticking of stress, but a looseness, as if time itself breathes more easily without the pull of any nearby mass. There's no earth to hold you, no sun to orbit. You are floating in a place where clocks would tick at their freest pace, and yet your body feels calm. Because while your time moves faster, your awareness drifts slower. Your thoughts begin to spread out like ink in still water. You think of Voyager 1, that little spacecraft launched in 1977, now sailing quietly through interstellar space. It carries a golden record, a message from humanity to whomever might find it 1 billion years from now. On it are sounds, songs, greetings in 55 languages. A baby crying, heartbeat, the crash of waves. Time for Voyager moves differently, far from Earth's gravity. It floats in a slightly faster stream. It will never return, but its journey is timeless in another sense, unbound by calendars, taking forward in a softer flow. And your dreams follow it, because in dreams, you are not tied to gravity. You are not limited by mass or momentum. In dreams, you too can drift freely through space-time curves and cosmic silence. You feel yourself falling upward, not down, toward the dark. But it isn't cold. It isn't lonely. It's vast. It's open. It welcomes your thoughts, like stars welcome the night. Here in deep space, you realize something beautiful. Even without gravity, the universe still has shape, still has direction. It's shaped by something even greater: expansion. The space around you is not just empty, it is stretching. Every second, the universe expands, not into something else, but into itself. The galaxies aren't flying through space. They are being carried by it, as if space were rising dough and galaxies were raisins moving apart, not because they push, but because the dough expands. And as space expands, time stretches too. The light from distant galaxies is pulled longer and longer, its wavelengths softened into red. This is called redshift, but it's more than a color change. It's a time change. A galaxy whose light reaches us today sent that light billions of years ago, but what we see is slower, stretched, as if we are watching it through the lens of time itself being diluted. So here in deep space, even light dreams more slowly. Your thoughts drift again to the cosmic microwave background, the soft, ancient glow left over from the birth of the universe itself. That light, too, has been stretched by time and space. Born in fire, now it is a whisper, a quiet hum filling the universe, barely detectable, but still here, just like you, drifting in this silence. And even in this stillness, you realize something else. In deep space, you are not separate from time. You are part of its unfolding. Your atoms were forged in stars. Your breath carries the memory of countless suns. The time that flows freely here is the same time that pulses in your blood, beats in your heart, and drifts through your thoughts. And so you are both the observer and the observed. You are the dreamer and the dream. Out here, in the dark, time is not something to measure. It is something to feel. Like a current in the ocean, you ride it, and it carries you, not forward, not backward, but outward. Always outward. Because the universe doesn't simply last. It grows. And as it grows, your story within it does too. You've felt how gravity slows time. You've walked the mountain. You've orbited the planet. You've watched the ticking of clocks change with height and speed. Now, in the weightlessness of the cosmos, you see the other side. You see that in deep space, where expansion shapes reality, time is the most flexible of all companions. It stretches, bends, slows, speeds, and it still holds you. You begin to float back through the layers of your thoughts. You are no longer only in deep space. You are hovering on the edge between the fast time of emptiness and the slow time of gravity. And here on this edge, a question rises. If time flows faster in space and slower near mass, what happens near something so massive that time nearly stops? What happens near a black hole? The thought pulls you gently, not with fear, but with wonder, because beyond the stretch of deep space, there are places where time doesn't just bend, it nearly vanishes. And in the next breath, you begin to fall toward it, slowly, peacefully, ready to meet the place where time itself reaches the edge of silence. Light moves through the universe like a whisper that never stumbles, a dancer that never tires, always tracing the same rhythm, never faster, never slower. It is quiet, constant, and deeply mysterious. In the soft dark around you, you imagine light not as a beam or a bulb, but as something more ancient, a pulse, a messenger, a note in the grand song of the cosmos that never changes its pitch. Light, you see, has a secret. No matter how fast you chase it, no matter where you stand or how you move, it always stays the same. This is not just a property, it's a boundary, a limit, a cosmic rule carved into the very bones of reality. Light travels at about 300,000 kilometers per second. In one heartbeat, it can circle Earth 7 times. And yet, despite its incredible speed, it isn't infinite. And that's where things get strange and beautiful. You lie still now, letting the rhythm of your breath match the rhythm of this thought. Because the speed of light isn't just about movement, it's about time itself. Time is not separate from space. It is woven together with it, like warp and weft on a silent loom. When something moves closer to the speed of light, its time slows down, its mass increases, its length contracts. You don't need to feel it happen. It simply does. This is why light is so unique, because light already moves at the ultimate limit. Its own time doesn't flow. From a photon's point of view, there is no past or future, no journey. A photon emitted from a star and absorbed by your eye, millions of years later, feels no passage of time. For it, emission and arrival are one moment. And yet, it is the thing that lets you see time. It brings you visions of galaxies as they were billions of years ago. It delivers the past, wrapped in color and brightness, to your present. You may look up and see a star, but you are not seeing it now. You are seeing it as it was, when the light first began its journey to you. So when you gaze into the night sky, you are looking back in time. The farther the star, the older the light. Some galaxies you see tonight may not even exist anymore. They have burned out, collapsed, or moved on. But their light is still traveling, still arriving. Light does not forget. You think of Einstein now, his quiet mind, imagining what it would be like to ride a beam of light. That childlike curiosity led to the theory of special relativity, a theory that told us time was not absolute, that space and time bend and flex together, and that light was the unbreakable thread that holds it all. Einstein realized something profound. Nothing with mass can reach the speed of light. Not because we don't have good engines, not because space pushes back, but because nature forbids it. As you get closer to light speed, you need more and more energy to go faster, until eventually you would need infinite energy to reach the same speed as light, and infinity is unreachable. This makes light a kind of guardian of the universe's structure. It defines what's possible. It sets the rules of motion, the timing of cause and effect. It is not the fastest thing. It is the fastest anything can be. That's why it's often called the cosmic speed limit. But speed in this sense, is not just about how fast something moves. It's about how things can communicate, how signals travel, how the present becomes the future. If information could move faster than light, then cause and effect could reverse. You could send a message into the past, and that breaks the flow of reality as we know it. So nature protects this limit, not just for speed, but for sanity. Even black holes, those mysterious places where gravity is so strong that even light can't escape, obey this limit. Their boundaries, called event horizons, are shaped by light's inability to get out. Nothing inside can send a signal out because nothing can move faster than light. The horizon is not a wall. It's a limit of communication. Beyond it, information is lost, not because it disappears, but because it can no longer be known. And so again, light defines what is visible, what is reachable, what is shareable between minds. In your quiet breath, you begin to feel something more. Light connects you to the universe. It touches your skin in the form of warmth. It helps your eyes find the shape of a face, the curve of a tree, the motion of stars. It nourishes life through photosynthesis. It dances in fiber optics, carrying voices across oceans. But even more than that, it gives you a sense of time, not just seconds and hours, but deep time, cosmic time. Because if light were infinite, you would see everything all at once. There would be no horizon, no mystery, no unfolding. But because it is finite, you get a story, a past, a now, a future. This slowness, if one can call it that, is the reason stars twinkle from far away and not all at once from every direction. It is the reason the universe isn't blinding, but instead beautifully discoverable, layer by glowing layer. You shift slightly, and the idea settles deeper. Light is the silence between stars, the message that takes its time, the limit that allows meaning to emerge. It is not impatient. It does not rush. And perhaps neither should you. Just as the universe unfolds at the pace of light, your own unfolding can be just as gentle. Each thought, each breath, each moment of wonder can stretch long and quiet across the canvas of your night. And so, as you lie beneath this limit, this quiet border of speed, you begin to wonder if light has a limit and mass can never catch it. What happens to time when you approach something that doesn't follow these rules? Something that bends time completely, like a black hole? In the next quiet breath, your thoughts drift again, this time toward a singularity, toward the place where even time itself might end. Imagine this: two twins, born moments apart, their hearts beating to the same rhythm, their laughter echoing in the same rooms. But then, one of them boards a spacecraft and leaves Earth behind. The other stays home. Years pass, and when the traveler returns, something strange has happened. One twin has aged. The other has barely changed. This is not a story from fantasy. This is a real consequence of how time behaves when you move close to the speed of light. It is called the twin paradox. And tonight, you travel with it gently, letting your imagination drift across space and time where the ticking of clocks depends on how fast and far you go. You lie still, letting your body soften into the quiet as the idea unfolds. Time dilation. It's the key. When you move very fast, especially near the speed of light, your experience of time slows down compared to someone who remains still. It's not an illusion. It's not just how it looks. It's truly slower. Your seconds stretch. Your minutes lengthen. So when the twin on the spaceship travels for, say, 10 years at near light speed, they return to find decades have passed on Earth. And yet, for them, only a handful of years went by. They step off the ship with a younger body, a face unmarked by the same time that has aged their sibling. This paradox isn't about contradiction. It's about perspective. Both twins believe they are standing still, and the other is moving. And in a way, both are right. But there's a difference. The twin on the spaceship must turn around. They must accelerate, decelerate, and return. And that's where the symmetry breaks. Acceleration, that gentle force pulling you when a car starts, that firm nudge pushing you into your seat, it tells you that your frame of reference has changed. It reminds you that motion is not always relative. There are costs, consequences, differences. You think now of your own moments of movement, train rides, flights, elevators. You know the feeling of being in motion, even with your eyes closed. Now imagine that motion stretched across stars. Imagine your heartbeat slowing as the universe slips past you. Imagine returning to find the world older without you. The twin paradox is not just science. It is deeply emotional. What would it feel like to come back, to find your home changed, to see your sibling marked by the years you did not live? Would there be sadness? Sense of magic? Or maybe just a soft understanding that time is not fixed. It is a river with bends and currents, and we, like leaves, float at different speeds. This story of twins has been proven in smaller ways. We've flown atomic clocks on airplanes. Clocks on jets tick slower than those left on the ground. GPS satellites, the ones that help your phone find where you are, must adjust for both special and general relativity. Their clocks tick differently because they're high above Earth and moving quickly. Without correcting for relativity, your location would drift by kilometers. The universe knows about time. It respects these differences. As you drift deeper into this chapter, you begin to see time not as a single ticking line, but as something more like a quilt. Each patch moves, stretches, ripples, depending on gravity, speed, and motion, and you are sewn into it, alongside galaxies and particles, trees, and stars. The twin paradox isn't a problem to solve. It's a story to feel. Imagine you close your eyes, and in your mind, you are the traveler. You wave goodbye to your twin. As Earth becomes a pale blue dot, you journey through silence, past planets, past starlight, past the warm breath of suns. Years pass, but for you, they are only moments. And when you return, you find a face in the crowd who looks like yours, but older. They remember birthdays you missed, seasons you didn't feel, stories you weren't part of. but they are still your twin, and in their eyes, you are still you. Time didn't break your bond. It simply wove a different path for each. You realize, in that moment, that time is not a thief. It is a storyteller. Each moment it gives you is precious, not because it's fast, but because it's finite. There is something profoundly human in this thought that we move forward, not together, not always at the same pace, but always connected, even when time bends, even when paths separate. So as you lie here now, feeling the quiet of the night, you might ask yourself, if time can stretch and space can bend, what does it mean to measure a journey? Is distance only a number, or is it the memory between points? The next chapter wonders about this, because not everything that travels far has to go fast. Sometimes, what matters is how space itself changes as you move through it. And so you begin to drift again, not toward speed, but toward space that stretches. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the universe as a vast, silent ocean, not of water, but of something deeper, something invisible, something everywhere. This ocean has no waves, no salt, no end, yet it carries everything. You, the stars, the light between galaxies. This is spacetime, not space and time, two separate things, but one woven fabric flowing gently beneath everything that exists. You float in it now, even as you lie still. The bed beneath you, your heartbeat, the earth beneath that, all of it resting on this silent, stretching sea. Space-time. You've been traveling through this fabric since the moment you were born. You don't feel it pulling, don't hear it humming, but it is always there, shaping your life in subtle, profound ways. Tonight, we drift into this ocean, not with rockets, not with machines, but with wonder. You are weightless in thought, a quiet passenger in the current of space-time. Now, imagine placing a marble on a trampoline. The fabric sags slightly beneath it, forming a gentle dip. Place a heavier object, like a bowling ball, and the fabric curves more. Drop another marble nearby, and it will roll toward the dip, not because it's pulled, but because the shape of the fabric tells it how to move. This is how gravity works, not as a force pulling things together, but as a curve in the ocean of spacetime. Your body knows gravity well. You feel its steady tug every moment. When you walk, when you lie down, when you let go of something and it falls. But now you know it differently. You see it not as a downward pull, but as the bending of a surface you can't touch. The earth is a marble on this trampoline. The sun is a massive sphere, creating a deeper well. And light itself, fast and bright, bends when it passes near. Even light can't escape this ocean's rules. Think of black holes, not monsters, not holes in the usual sense, but places where the curve becomes steep, like a whirlpool in spacetime. So steep, in fact, that not even light can climb out. They are part of this ocean too, deep, dark pits in an otherwise gentle sea. And just like in an ocean, motion changes depending on the currents. Swim against the current, and you tire. Flow with it, and the world rushes past. In spacetime, your speed, your path, your time, all shift with the curve. Now breathe deeply. Feel your body sinking into this idea, as if into warm water. You don't need to struggle or understand every ripple. You're simply floating, gently rocked by gravity's invisible hand. And now, consider this. As you rest quietly in one place, your body moves through time, second by second. But someone far away, on a mountain, in orbit, or near something massive, they experience time just a little differently because their patch of space-time is curved differently. Time ticks slightly faster on mountaintops than it does in valleys. This isn't poetry. It's been measured by atomic clocks and satellites watching Earth from above. The ocean of space-time is uneven, and we, as boats upon it, feel those tides in every moment we live. It's not only planets and black holes that make waves in space-time. Even small things can ripple the fabric. Two black holes spiraling together can send waves across the universe, gravitational waves. These aren't waves you can hear or see. They stretch and squeeze the very fabric you exist in, and they pass through you silently, constantly. Detected now by laser instruments so precise they can sense the change of a length smaller than a proton. Think about that. The ocean moves, not violently, not obviously, but with the elegance of deep tides. And you, even asleep, are part of its dance. Your dreams might be carried by these waves. Your thoughts might float along these folds in space-time. Einstein first saw the ocean for what it was, not just empty void, but a flexible stage, a stage that shapes everything, and that everything shapes in return. You can never leave this ocean. You are stitched into it, your body written into its lines like poetry. Even your atoms obey its flow. Even your light, your breath, your weightless thoughts. And now, as your breathing slows, you might begin to feel it, not physically, but with your inner sense, the quiet knowing that you are floating, not in nothingness, but in something vast, something gentle, something that curves beneath you and holds you without asking. That is space-time. You are not on top of the world. You are inside its fabric, curved, moving, carried gently through time, like a note in a song. And the ocean stretches on, past stars, past galaxies, through the arms of spinning nebulae, and into the silence beyond. There is no edge. There is no bottom. Only waves, and time, and movement. And here, as you drift at the surface of sleep, you realize you are not separate from the cosmos. You are made of its fabric, shaped by its flow, a ripple in the ocean that holds all things. And as this chapter closes, you find yourself wondering if space-time can bend, can ripple, can stretch, and dance. What happens when light itself tries to cross it? How does a beam of light follow the curves of this silent sea? That is where we go next. The next current awaits. Somewhere far beyond your window, beyond the humming world of engines and clocks, lies a darkness so complete, so silent. It bends not just space, but time itself. Black holes. They are not monsters, not destroyers, but instead the quietest, most patient sculptors in the cosmos. They curve the ocean of space-time so deeply, it forms a well from which not even light can escape. Tonight, you drift closer, not to fall in, but to understand, to feel what happens when time no longer behaves the way you know it. Black holes begin not with mystery, but with stars, massive, glowing stars that live wild, fiery lives, and then, at the end, collapse under their own weight. Gravity pulls inward, and if the star is large enough, no force in nature can hold it up. It falls inward, further, deeper, until there is no surface left, only a point of infinite density wrapped in silence. This point is called a singularity, and around it, an invisible boundary, the event horizon. It is here that time begins to stretch, not gradually, not politely, but dramatically. If you watch someone fall toward a black hole, you, safe and far away, you would never see them cross the edge. To your eyes, they would slow down. Their movements would stretch out until they seemed frozen, just outside the event horizon. Time, from your point of view, pauses. But for the one falling in, time moves normally. Second is still a second, but the universe above them begins to race. This is time dilation at its most extreme. The deeper the curve in space-time, the slower time flows. And a black hole is the deepest curve of all. Imagine sitting quietly near one, not close enough to fall in, but close enough to feel the tension in time. Your heartbeat slows, not because your body changes, but because space-time does. An hour for you might be years for someone far away. And when you return, if you could, you would find the world older, friends aged, events long past. You would be a traveler into the future, having done nothing but sit still at the edge of a cosmic pause. Isn't that a strange kind of time machine? And yet, it's real, not fiction, not fantasy, measured in the equations of Einstein and echoed in the ripples of gravitational waves we've now begun to hear. Black holes speak a very quiet language. They do not emit light, but they leave fingerprints on stars that swirl near them, on light that bends past them, on the timing of pulsars flickering nearby. We know them not by sight, but by shadow. In 2019, a telescope the size of Earth itself, a collaboration of minds and lenses across continents, gave us the first image of a black hole. Not the hole itself, but the glowing halo of matter circling it, heated to unbearable light just before disappearing beyond the edge. In the center, a perfect darkness, circle of no return, a place where time slows and then stops. You cannot survive crossing that line, but you can imagine what it means. A place where time stretches until it breaks. A place where the laws of physics become quiet and unknown. It's humbling. This universe, so vast, holds places where time, the very rhythm of your life, can be undone. But here's something softer to consider. The black hole doesn't destroy time. It holds it, preserves it in a way no clock can. What falls in does not vanish, not completely. It becomes part of the curve. Its gravity remains. Its presence is still written into the fabric of space-time. even when the light is gone. And perhaps, in the far, cold future of the universe, when stars fade and galaxies drift apart, these black holes will be the last to remain. Time will stretch endlessly. The pause will grow longer until all that's left are these quiet remnants, these deep, dark pauses in the cosmic song. As you lie still tonight, your own time flowing gently around you, you can feel something of this stillness. Not frightening, but fast, the way silence after music feels. Not empty, but full of presence. Black holes remind us that time is not a straight line, not a constant drum, but a malleable thing, able to stretch, bend, pause, and even stop. And you, made of stars and memory, are sensitive to this dance. Your body, your dreams, your breath, they all ride the waves of space-time. The deeper you drift into sleep, the closer you come to understanding the black hole's lesson. That time is not fixed. That slowness is not absence. That even the darkest pause is part of the universe's unfolding story. So let your thoughts drift now to the center of galaxies, where these black holes wait, not to swallow, but to remind. Remind us of what it means to feel time shift beneath us, around us, within us. And perhaps you wonder, if black holes can pause time, can anything reverse it? Can the arrow of time ever point backwards? That is the mystery we will float toward next. Imagine, just for a moment, the earth still spinning beneath a sky untroubled by thought, but no footsteps echo on its soil. No voices stir the air. No eyes glance at the ticking of a clock. This is time. Without us. Time that doesn't need anyone watching it to pass. Time as it flows when the world forgets we were ever here. It is still, unburdened, and yet unfolding. You lie in the softness of night, your breath slow, your thoughts unwinding, and begin to picture a planet absent of presence, but not of change. Mountains still crumble, rivers still carve paths, the tides still rise and fall with the pull of the moon. Even without you, without any you, the rhythm continues. It's humbling, isn't it? To realize that time isn't something made just for humans, but something far older, deeper, quieter. Something that existed long before your heartbeat began, and something that will continue long after it fades. You begin to drift into that quiet. The forests remain. The wind still curls around tree trunks, and seeds sprout beneath the soil. All of this happens in time, but no one watches the seconds pass. No one counts the hours. Time, in its rawest form, isn't what's on your wall clock. It's motion, change, decay, growth. In the language of physics, time is inseparable from entropy, the slow, patient tendency of things to shift from order to disorder. Your body, your memories, your cities, even stars, they are all caught in this river. And yet, there's something beautiful in that, like a tide washing away footprints in the sand. Time cleans, reshapes, renews. Now picture a room, sealed tight. Inside, a watch ticking, but no one is there to hear it. Is time still moving? Yes, because the battery drains. The gears turn. Dust settles slowly on the floor. Atoms jostle quietly in the air. Time doesn't need us, but we need it. It gives form to memory, structure to motion, shape to life. And still, there is a deeper thought. How do we even sense time at all? Inside your mind, there is no clock, no ticking sound, only a sequence of moments stitched together into experience. Your body tells time through rhythm, your heartbeat, your breath, the pulsing of hormones, the shifting of light through your eyes. And yet, remove the cues, silence the ticking, and time begins to blur. Astronauts, alone in space, speak of a strange timelessness, a floating sensation where moments lose their grip and a day feels like a dream. This is time without society, without sunrise or dinner bells, without calendars, just pure being, moving through a sea of now. Perhaps, then, time without us isn't empty, it's free. It is forests growing slowly without watchful eyes, stars aging gracefully, millions of light years away, uncounted. It's the deep ocean where no human light ever reaches. But time still marches, slowly, like sediment drifting through shadow. And it's in the rock, the ancient, pressed layers of the earth, each stratum a frozen chapter in the planet's patient book. You feel it now, don't you? Time not as hours, but as texture. Time that doesn't rush, doesn't worry, just unfolds. Even memory, so vital to your sense of time, is a fragile filter. The past changes in your mind, reshaped by feeling, softened by forgetting. But the universe remembers differently. It leaves behind fossils, layers, light that's still traveling across space, from stars long dead. Time is etched into the cosmos. So what happens when the last living creature closes its eyes? Does time pause? No. Even then, atoms will still jitter. Black holes will still evaporate. A process so slow it spans numbers your mind can't quite hold. Galaxies will continue their long, slow drift apart. And the background hum of the universe, the afterglow of the Big Bang, will fade ever fainter. It is time without audience. Time as silence. But even in this silence, the universe tells a story. Not a loud one, not a fast one, but a deep, echoing tale of change and becoming. You are part of that. For a brief, bright blink, you are the part of the universe that became aware. The part that looked at a watch and wondered what it meant. The part that gave names to morning and dusk, to seasons and centuries. And maybe that's your unique gift, not to create time, but to feel it, to carry a little candle of awareness through the vast halls of space-time. Tonight, as you breathe deeply, you touch something that doesn't need your name, your schedule, your calendar. You touch time that simply is, and you begin to wonder if time flows without us, if change never rests. Then, what is the force that draws all things toward motion? What lies beneath this current? That's where we go next. To the quiet pull beneath the ticking, to entropy. Now is a word you speak often. You say, now I'm here. I'll do it now. This is happening now. But what is now? Truly, you're lying still, your breath slow, wrapped in the hush of night. The world seems paused. You think you are in the present, but in truth, the present is always just a memory in disguise. Light, which seems so fast, still takes time to reach you. Even when someone sits across from you, the photons from their face must travel, even if just a whisper of a second, before they touch your eyes. And your brain, so wonderfully fast, still takes a tiny sliver of time to process what you see, to craft an image, to build awareness. So what you experience as now has already happened. You live always in a delayed version of the world. It's like watching a live broadcast with a tiny lag, a half-second delay between the action and the awareness. And yet, you feel no gap, no break. Your mind stitches everything into one seamless thread. How? Because your brain is not just a receiver. It's a guesser. It's a painter, always predicting what the world should look like before the signals even finish arriving. You don't wait for reality. You imagine it first. In this way, now is a story, not a point. It is a blending of memory, of current sensation, and of prediction, all crafted inside your head. And this illusion, this beautiful trick, is what lets you move, speak, breathe with timing that feels perfect. Even athletes, those whose lives depend on timing, act not on the present, but on their mind's guess of the near future. When a baseball speeds toward the batter, he swings not where the ball is, but where it will be hundreds of milliseconds ahead. That's how the brain lives, always leaning forward, but calling it now. Even your sense of self, your I, exists within this time mist. You are not a point. You are a flow. The sensation of being you is built from memories of the past and guesses about the future, woven into a smooth, shimmering present. So what then is truly now? Is it a second? A millisecond? Blank? Even physics hesitates here. There's no agreed smallest now. Only that time is not made of perfect moments stacked like bricks, but more like waves, overlapping, continuous, fluid. And every now you hold is already shaped by things far away. Look up at the stars. Many of them no longer exist, but their light still travels. When you see them, you see long vanished light as if it were current. In this way, space and time tangle together. There is no universal now, no single shared moment. Einstein showed us this. He told us time is relative. Two people moving differently or pulled by gravity differently will not agree on what now means. One person's now may be another's future or past. That's the strange poetry of space-time. So as you lie still, letting your thoughts drift, know that your sense of now is your own. It is not the world's clock. It is your own music. It depends on where you are, how you move, how you remember. Even your emotions shape the tempo of your now. Fear stretches it. A moment can feel like forever when your heart races. Joy compresses it. Hours slip by unnoticed when you're at peace. This, too, is part of the illusion. Time does not change speed. You do. Your brain changes speed, your perception, your awareness. And perhaps that's why you feel surprised when you see an old photo. You say, was that really so long ago? Because your sense of time's path is never straight. It bends, like memory bends, like dreams bend. And here, lying gently in the quiet, you begin to notice how fragile now really is. It's not just physics that makes it blur. It's also life, routine, repetition, screens, noise. They flatten time. But the feeling of something vast, something surprising, stretches it open. Think of the first time you saw the sea, or held someone you love, or stood beneath a sky full of stars. Those moments felt wide, didn't they? Because they pulled you into presence. And that is the key. The illusion of now can be softened by attention. When you slow down, when you breathe, when you notice, you begin to feel not the false now, but something deeper, a current beneath the surface. A now that isn't made of seconds, but of awareness. And here's the mystery. If now is just a perception, is there really a dividing line between past and future? Or is all of time unfolding at once, and we are just moving through it like a flashlight sweeping across a painting? Some physicists think so. They call it the block universe. In this picture, all moments exist, past, present, future, already laid out. You are simply here in one slice of the whole, a slice you call now. And so, time is not a river flowing past you. You are the one who flows. You carry your idea of now with you like a lantern, and that light paints the moment. But somewhere ahead, just outside your view, there are more moments, not yet felt, not yet lit, already real, already waiting. You let that thought settle into your body. You let it drift like smoke into your dreams. And just as your breath becomes slower, the last question rises in the soft dark. If now is only a feeling, then what is it that pulls you forward? What direction are you really going? That's where we turn next, to the quiet whisper beneath all motion. Entropy. Time feels like a one-way street. You wake, you breathe, you grow. You remember yesterday, but not tomorrow. A glass shatters, but it never unshatters. Rain falls, but never floats back to the clouds. Ashes drift from fire, but flames do not rise from ash. This is the arrow of time. Forward, always forward. And yet, the laws of physics don't seem to care. They run just as smoothly backward as forward. If you film two particles colliding, then reverse the film, the physics would still hold. No rules would break. At the smallest scales, time is symmetrical. So why doesn't the universe run backward? Why don't we age in reverse, remember the future, or see broken things unbreak? The answer lies not in individual particles, but in crowds, crowds of atoms, crowds of molecules, crowds of moments. Imagine a deck of cards, perfectly ordered. Ace to king, one neat suit at a time. Now shuffle it, and again, and again. Each time, you add disorder. Each shuffle brings more randomness. fewer patterns. It is possible, in theory, to shuffle it right back into perfect order, but the chances are infinitesimally small. So small, it might never happen, even once in the age of the universe. This is the heart of entropy, a measure of disorder. When entropy rises, things grow messier. Ice melts, smoke drifts apart, memories fade, and this increase in entropy gives time its direction. Not because time must move forward, but because forward is the direction where entropy increases. You don't remember the future because it hasn't scattered yet. There's no trail of pieces to follow, no imprint left behind. But what if, just for a moment, entropy could run backwards? What if, instead of things falling apart, they fell back together? A broken egg uncracks. A puff of smoke contracts, sinking back into a candle's flame. It would look like magic, like time reversed. But such events, though not forbidden by the laws of physics, are so rare, they're practically impossible. Still, your body tells this story every day. You breathe in oxygen, burn it for energy, and breathe out carbon dioxide. You turn food into movement, heat, thought. You generate entropy with every heartbeat, and your body cannot reverse that tide. You age, you change, you forget. But deep inside you, in your cells, are tiny processes that seem to resist the flow. Cells repair themselves. Some even divide endlessly, carrying blueprints for life from one generation to the next. This gives the illusion of reverse motion. A baby becoming a child, then an adult, then creating another child. Cycles inside linear time. But entropy always wins in the end. The order of life comes at a cost. Burned fuel, spent energy, heat lost to the world. Even stars lose their fight. Burning hot, radiant, they give light to planets, warmth to worlds. But eventually, they burn out. The atoms once fused together will scatter. Entropy claims them too. And yet, the universe began in a state of low entropy, a tight, ordered point. All mass, all light, all space, concentrated, calm. Then it expanded. The order unraveled. Galaxies spun. Stars were born. And entropy began its long ascent. So the arrow of time may exist not because of physics, but because of this, a strange, unlikely beginning. And because we started from order, we head toward disorder. Not because we must, but because it's what's most probable. Just like the shuffled deck, we go from neat to messy, not because of a rule, but because of chance. And this means, if the universe had started differently, maybe we would feel time differently too. There are theories, soft as whispers, that somewhere in the deep, dark edge of the cosmos, the arrow of time could bend the other way, that in some distant corner, a version of you might walk backward through time, remembering what you have yet to do, forgetting what you've already done. Not because time runs differently, but because entropy does. Could two arrows of time ever meet? And if they did, would they recognize one another? Would your future self, traveling backward, ever cross paths with you? Would either of you know? Here, in the soft quiet of night, You let your thoughts drift over this mystery. The idea that time isn't a flowing stream, but a slope guided by the tilt of entropy. You imagine a hill. At the top, a delicate tower of pebbles. You release them, and they tumble down. Easy, natural. But to climb the hill again, for those same pebbles to reassemble, would take effort, chance, time, or a miracle. So you don't live backward because entropy doesn't. And maybe that's why we cherish memories more than predictions. Why old photographs feel sacred and the future always feels uncertain. Because one is etched by disorder and the other still waits, untouched. But here's the tender truth. Every breath you take adds a line to time's story. Even as the world spins toward disorder, you create moments of meaning, of order, of life. You are a flame in the cold, a temporary balance against the falling tide. You can't stop the direction, but you can dance within it. And perhaps that is what it means to be human, to move through time, not as a victim, but as a voyager. And so, with that thought, you breathe deeply. You feel the stillness around you. You feel time's gentle slope beneath you. And you ask, if the universe began in order, how did that first moment come to be? And what echoes of it remain inside you? Even now, in the world, time flows like a river. It moves steadily forward, second by second, step by step. You wake, you breathe, you grow older, you remember the past, but the future remains unwritten. But deep below the surface of everyday life, far beneath skin and stone and sound, a stranger rhythm pulses. It's the rhythm of the quantum world, a place where particles flicker, where position and motion blur, and where time, as you know it, begins to dissolve. In this realm, time doesn't march. It hums, flickers, and sometimes waits. Here, you find atoms behaving like waves, waves behaving like possibilities, and possibilities not choosing until watched. Imagine a tiny particle, a single electron. In the quantum world, this electron doesn't follow a single path. It takes every path all at once. It spins in all directions, lives in many places, until you look. And the moment you do, its future is chosen. It settles. It collapses. This is the strange heartbeat of quantum time. Not steady, not directional, but shimmering with potential. You are used to thinking of now as a single moment, a thin slice between what has been and what will be. But in quantum mechanics, now stretches. It overlaps with before and after. It becomes a cloud of what could be. And in this haze, cause and effect can blur. Sometimes a particle behaves as though it knows what's coming, as though its future is already part of its present. To explain this, scientists speak of superposition, a state where many realities exist side by side. The particle goes left and right. It spins up and down. Time is not a thread, but a web woven in silence. Even entanglement, the most mysterious quantum bond, defies your ordinary sense of time. Two particles, once linked, can stay connected across galaxies. Change one, and the other responds, instantly. No signal passes, no time delay. It's as though time doesn't matter between them, as if distance and delay have no meaning in their bond. Some physicists wonder, is time even real at this scale? Or is it just an illusion, a pattern emerging from chaos? Like waves rising from the sea, you might imagine time as a rope, each thread a different quantum possibility, pulled tight by your perception. You only feel one thread at a time, but all the threads are there. And sometimes, in rare, precious moments, they shimmer together. Your brain, too, dances with quantum whispers, tiny switches in your neurons. Fire or wait, store or forget, guided by probabilities. The choices you make feel firm and final, but inside, each decision rides a tide of uncertainty, shaped by invisible waves. Time, in your thoughts, is not a ruler, but a rhythm, a pause between sparks, a waiting space for the next signal. And just like the particles, you don't always act in a straight line. You reflect, you imagine, you remember backward, you dream forward. Quantum physics offers another mystery, the Wheeler's delayed choice experiment. It suggests that how you measure a particle now can determine what it was doing before you measured. The future shapes the past. It's unsettling, but quietly beautiful, because it means you are never only shaped by what has happened, you are also shaped by what might come. Time in the quantum world isn't just a direction, it's a dialogue. The particle doesn't merely pass through a moment, it responds to it. It listens. It changes based on what is asked of it. And you are not so different. You are not a rock, carved once and forever. You are a wave, constantly shaped by where you are going, as much as where you've been. And so you lie still now, and you wonder, what if time is not a line, but a lantern? A quiet glow lighting different paths at different moments. Some close, some far, all possible. In the quantum world, time doesn't trap you. It invites you. It says, what will you choose to see? What moment will you collapse into your reality? And in this soft stillness, as sleep begins to gather around you, you feel that perhaps your dreams are their own kind of quantum leap. You travel through memories not yet made. You see versions of yourself, not yet born, not yet done. You become the observer and the observed, the moment and the meaning. And slowly, quietly, you drift deeper into a place where time folds and light flickers in stillness. Because just ahead waits another mystery. If time is this strange beneath our skin, what does it look like on the very edge of the beginning? Time moves in one direction. At least, that's how it feels to you. You remember yesterday. You plan for tomorrow. You cannot rewind. You cannot pause. This direction, this flow, is called time's arrow. But why does time have an arrow? What draws it forward and never back? The answer lies in a quiet, universal drift, a soft unraveling known as entropy. Imagine a teacup falling from a table. It hits the floor and shatters. Ceramic shards scatter. The sound rings out, and silence follows. You see the pieces. You remember the cup. But you've never seen the reverse. Shards leaping up, rejoining, reforming the cup. You know, deep in your body, that it can't happen, not because the laws of physics forbid it, but because the universe prefers disorder. This preference has a name: entropy. It's the measure of chaos, the count of ways something can fall apart compared to how it can stay whole. The more disorder, the more entropy. And entropy always grows, always moves forward, never backward. Entropy is why smoke curls up, not down. Why ice melts, but doesn't unmelt. Why your childhood lives only in memory. Why stars age. Why you age. In this silent march of increasing disorder, time finds its direction. You might imagine the universe as a perfect deck of cards. In the beginning, neat, ordered, sharp. But with each second, the cards shuffle, the patterns loosen, and the deck becomes more jumbled. This jumbling, this rising entropy, is the arrow. It's not a force, not a law, but the trend, a drift, a leaning toward the probable. And the probable, as strange as it seems, is always Messier. Entropy tells you something deep about life, about change, about impermanence. You tidy a room, but it grows messy again. You light a candle, but the flame fades. You take a breath, and that breath ripples outward, into air, into heat, into sky. Each moment spills into the next, not like a straight line, but like a cascade. Entropy is also why memory works the way it does. You remember the past, not because it's behind you, but because your brain writes down information as entropy rises. Your thoughts are tiny ledgers, recording how the world has changed. You cannot remember the future because it hasn't yet added to the disorder. It hasn't happened yet. And so, your mind rides time's arrow too. Even stars are bound by entropy. They burn through fuel. They shine with order. But slowly, inevitably, they cool. The universe itself was born in incredible order, a hot, tight, brilliant state. And now it stretches, expands, cools. Its energy spreads thinner, like honey dissolving in water. One day, if entropy keeps climbing, the cosmos may reach what physicists call heat death, a time when everything is so evenly spread, so thoroughly disordered, that no change can happen at all. No stars, no sparks, no breath, just silence. It's not a violent end. It's a sigh, a stillness, a moment when time, with no more chaos to increase, might lose its arrow. But until then, you are part of the drift. You are a brief pattern in the current of rising entropy. Your body is made of organized cells. Your mind arranges thoughts, memories, hopes. And with each moment, you give off heat. You move. You change. You increase entropy, but not without beauty. Because while the universe grows Messier, you still build, still create, still write songs, and plant seeds, and tell stories under the stars. And that, too, is part of the arrow. You are not a victim of entropy. You are an artist within it. You transform low entropy energy, food, light, breath, into movement, into dreams, into love. Entropy gives time its direction. but you give time its meaning. It is tempting to think of entropy as loss, as ruin, as the slow decay of all things. But it is also what makes motion possible, what makes warmth, what lets light escape a star, what allows you to wake up to a new day. Without entropy, nothing would change. Everything would remain frozen, timeless, motionless. Instead, you live in a world where everything flows. And so, as you settle in this moment, wrapped in stillness and thought, you can feel the arrow, soft, steady, kind. It carries you forward, not in haste, but in rhythm, a gentle unfolding. Somewhere ahead, entropy continues to rise, but not yet. For now, you drift in the warmth of all that's been and all that might come. And just ahead waits a question. If time has a direction, could it ever reverse? Time feels different depending on how you move through it. A minute in the sun feels brief, but a minute in discomfort stretches endlessly. You live by the ticking of clocks, but your body listens to deeper rhythms, to breath, to heartbeat, to memory. Tonight, you float inside a gentle question. Can living slower also mean living longer? To answer, we drift beyond routine clocks and into the quiet laws of physics and biology, where time is not just marked, but felt, stretched, bent, and sometimes delayed. In space, time passes differently. This isn't metaphor, it's physics. The faster you move, the more slowly time ticks for you. This is time dilation, a strange but real effect predicted by Einstein. If you boarded a spaceship and traveled close to the speed of light, you would age more slowly than someone who stayed on Earth. To you, days would feel normal. But when you returned, the world would have moved on. Months, years, even centuries ahead. You would have lived slower, and so longer. Even gravity has a say. Time runs slightly faster on mountaintops than at sea level. The higher you rise, the less gravity tugs, and the gentler the clock ticks. Astronauts in orbit, high above Earth, age just a touch faster than those in deeper gravity wells. But if they travel fast enough, that slowness returns. Speed pulls time back, gravity pushes it forward. So now you wonder, could humans truly live longer by traveling fast? By floating far from gravity's grip? In theory, yes. In practice, not quite yet. The speeds needed are enormous, the conditions extreme, but the dream lingers. To stretch life not by years lived, but by slowing the flow of time itself. And there's another layer, closer to home, your biology. Inside your body, time also moves at many speeds. Some creatures live fast. They burn bright and brief. Hummingbirds, shrews, small things with fast hearts and short lives. Others drift through decades. Whales, tortoises, trees that barely seem to move but last lifetimes longer. You too have rhythms that matter. Stress speeds the body. Worry raises the heart. Every alarm bell inside you ticks louder, faster, wearing you down. But when you slow, when you breathe deeply, when your days are steady, your biology listens. It quiets. It repairs. It slows its own clocks. Living slower doesn't mean doing less. It means moving with care, choosing rest, letting time unfold instead of chasing it. Your cells know how to slow down. They are built to repair, to renew, but only when they aren't in panic, only when they aren't rushing. Studies show that meditation, rest, and even deep, steady breathing can protect your brain from aging. That laughter and connection preserve your memory, like gentle music preserving the soul of a song. Your telomeres, the protective tips of your chromosomes, shorten with stress, but they lengthen with love, with calm, with purpose. So perhaps to live longer, you don't need a spaceship. You just need space. Space in your day. Space in your thoughts. Space in your breath. There is beauty in the slowness of moments. A sunbeam through a window. The slow curl of steam from tea. The way your heartbeat whispers, I am here. I am here. Time for you is not just physics. It is story. It is memory. It is feeling. And when your days are full of presence, they stretch. When you are fully alive, even a short time feels full. There are people who live only a few decades, but fill them with meaning, with kindness, with joy. And there are others who live longer, but race so fast they barely touch the ground. So you ask again, can living slower make life longer? Yes, if by longer you mean fuller. If by longer you mean deeper. Because time is not just counted in hours. It's counted in attention, in awe, in quiet wonder. And perhaps, too, the body listens to how you treat it. Slower food, slower steps, a slower mind that doesn't rush through life, but walks with it. Your heart beats a little easier when you're not chasing the clock. Your body heals more deeply when you let it rest. Even your dreams linger longer when you ease into sleep. And sleep itself, the great reset, is a time machine of its own. In sleep, your brain cleans itself. Memories are filed, emotions softened. Sleep slows the wear of wakefulness. Those who sleep well often live longer, not just in years, but in clarity, in peace. So the secret may be this: life slows down when you let it, when you taste your meals instead of swallowing them, when you speak in pauses, not in rushes, when you notice the sky instead of glancing past it. The universe will continue to expand. The stars will continue to age. Entropy will rise. But within this great, wild dance, you have a choice: to rush or to rest, to blur or to breathe. Living slower may not stop time, but it helps you meet it gently, fully, alive. And so, as you rest now, in stillness, with each breath quiet and full, you are already lengthening your life in the only way that matters, by being here for it. Somewhere beyond this chapter, a final thought waits for you. A soft question, as ancient as the stars. What remains when time itself fades? There is a quiet in the universe, so deep, so still, that even time dares not move. In this final journey, you drift past ticking clocks and spinning galaxies, beyond the circling of planets, beyond the breath of stars. Here, the question lingers softly. Can time truly stop? You've traveled far, through gravity and light, through motion and memory, through the ways time stretches, folds, and slows. But now we arrive at a stillness so complete, it asks something different, not how time moves, but whether it must move at all. You may think of time as constant, as an ever-ticking backdrop, but time, in truth, is woven from motion. It rises from change, from the decay of particles, from shifting shadows, from heartbeat to heartbeat. Without motion, without change, what does time mean? This is where physics becomes poetry and where the universe becomes a thought. At the center of a black hole, time doesn't tick the same. There, gravity becomes so intense, it pulls on time like a stone sinks in water. To you, watching from afar, a falling object slows endlessly, never quite reaching the center. But to the object itself, time feels normal until it doesn't. At that heart, the singularity, space, and time fold inwards, curl so tight we lose our map. Does time stop there? Or do we simply lose the language to follow it? Physicists are still listening, still watching, still asking. Some believe time ends at the singularity. Others believe it passes through, like a thread reappearing on the other side. And beyond the black holes, beyond even galaxies, there lies the universe's fate. Right now, everything is moving apart, galaxies drifting from one another, space stretching wider, the great expansion still unfolding. But one day, perhaps not tomorrow, perhaps not for billions of years, that expansion will cool everything down. Stars will burn out, planets will drift into darkness, black holes will evaporate. This is called the heat death of the universe, not with fire, but with stillness. A cold, dark, quiet future where nothing changes, no reactions, no sparks, no clocks ticking, a universe that still exists, but without a story to tell. In such a place, what does time mean? If no events occur, if no memories form, if no particles shift, then time, as we know it, ceases to have purpose. It doesn't stop like a watch runs out of battery. It simply fades, becomes unmeasurable, becomes a word without a pulse. And yet, you are here, alive, warm, breathing. You feel time because you change, because your mind remembers and your body moves through now into next. You are time's witness, its traveler, its storyteller. And even if the universe forgets time someday, you have not. You've carried it gently through every chapter, in your thoughts, in your dreams, in every rising sun. Some scientists ask whether time even exists. They wonder if it's just an illusion, a trick played by entropy, by memory, by human perception. But illusions can still feel real. They can still guide you. They can still shape a life. And this illusion, if it is one, has carried civilizations. It has built moments of joy and sorrow. It has held hands and ended wars. It has grown forests and cities. Maybe time is more than science. Maybe it's how the universe remembers itself. And you are part of that memory. Each breath you take is a ripple in this strange, beautiful pool. Each kindness you show leaves a mark in time's fabric. So even when stars go quiet and the great clocks fall silent, something remains. Not minutes, not years, but meaning. You might ask, does it matter if time stops? If what we did in it still echoes? And that is perhaps the last gift time gives you. Not just seconds to spend, but stories to shape. Because though the universe may one day go still, your choices now ripple far forward. In hearts you touch, in lives you change, in ideas you leave behind. We are all short-lived things in a long-lived cosmos. But through time, we get to dance, to wonder, to love. So perhaps this is not an ending, but a gentle hush, the final exhale after a song. Not silence, but peace. And though this chapter closes, time itself leaves the door open for new thoughts, for deeper dreams, for one last lingering question. What if the end of time is only the beginning of something we cannot yet name? Close your eyes now. Let all you've learned settle softly. Let the universe dim its lights. The clocks may rest, but your curiosity never sleeps. Thank you for joining this quiet journey through the stars, through time, through thought, through the soft corners of the universe. If tonight's story sparked a question in your heart or gently rocked your curiosity to sleep, know that there are many more worlds waiting to be explored together. This is the Dreamy Physicist, where science slows down and wonder begins to whisper. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and from the edge of space to the stillness of your room, good night.